Today we're taking a look at Lonely Mountains Downhill on the Nintendo Switch, a game with a simple concept, that is, get from the top of the mountain to the bottom pretty much as quickly as possible. Is this the addictive formula it so strives to be? Well, hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we do here, join our growing family, leave the video a like if we do help you out today, and let's get started. So with no story to speak of, obviously we're jumping straight in with gameplay. Here it couldn't be more simple for controls. There's actually just 4 inputs: accelerate, brake, steer and sprint. It's simplistic in design but achieves absolutely everything it needs to, providing the challenge actually on the trails themselves as they ramp in difficulty. Basically, they're quickly going to add more and more ways to add severe injuries to this poor little dude on his bike. Now I will say the controls, they will take a little while to get used to at first. You're going to be getting frustrated, I guarantee that. But once you do work them out, there's actually 2 options here. Once you find the one that you like the most, you'll be crushing through these tracks like an absolute pro. Remember as well, this isn't some car racer, you're going downhill. So it's not only working out the controls, but understanding the physics as well. So yeah, you might be holding brake, for example, but on the incline of the mountain, your weight, the weight of the bike, it's gonna still push you forward. Understanding that is absolutely essential to your success. Now while we're here as well on control scheme, I do want to say, because it requires you to pretty much always be making like small micro adjustments, handheld, it was just absolutely uncomfortable. My hands were aching before I even made it to the bottom of the first mountain. So it's just something to keep in mind if you're predominantly a handheld player or Switch Lite user. I will say as well, I have kind of big hands, so it may just be me too. Remember that. I did want to point it out though. With content then, I gotta say, tons of it. This is the formula basically. Go to a mountain and work your way from the top to the bottom. No restrictions or anything else, just make it to the bottom with checkpoints along the way, which you're going to absolutely love because you're going to be crashing a lot. Look at this though basically as a practice run, the calm before the storm. This now is where the real challenge comes in, because once you've done this, it unlocks challenges. These range from beginner to expert, and they're basically all time trials with restrictions in place. Now at first, I'll be honest, I saw just 4 mountains and I thought this was going to be content light and it's going to be over quickly. I gotta say it now, it proved me wrong entirely, with a huge amount of challenges available to you that are gonna absolutely push your skill level and just keep you coming back for more and more. These can be anything from finish a trail in a specific time to keep your crash count within a certain amount throughout the entire journey. Even then as well, when you beat all these challenges, yes, congratulations, you've beat them. But does that even matter if you're not ranking high on the leaderboard? And this is an online leaderboard too. To me, this is just a prime example of a high score chaser's dream. And honestly, seeing yourself in like 1,000th place after you think you've had a good run is both infuriating and the only excuse I ever need to click try again. Then after all of this, you know, the opening chilled run, the challenges, that's when the ultimate challenge rears its head. It's called Freerider. It sounds relaxed and it's really not. This is basically a mode with no checkpoints at all and you need to make it from the top to the bottom in a single attempt. This is absolutely painful but so rewarding when you finally beat it. For me though, what makes Lonely Island... Lonely Island?
We running this, let's go! I'm on a boat!
For me though, what makes Lonely Mountains so unique is it's not a forced path. Yes, there's a trail and you can clearly see it on screen right now, but that doesn't mean you need to follow it. The most joy I got from this game was when I went flying off a cliff, expecting my swift and painful death, only to realise I just discovered a shortcut with a jump I can absolutely handle, and I've just saved myself like 5-10 seconds and probably a crash on that next turn. Now with the gameplay, I will say it's also not really a traditional experience. It's not like the typical, you know, racer, shall we say. You're never competing against anyone on the track, for example. Here though, it's almost like a game of memorization, you know, learning the trail, understanding what's coming up next, and always just being one step ahead of the game, just knowing the next turn's going to be a left and a right and so on. Learn your route though, and only then here will you get like maximum success and those best times. There's so much to learn here though, and so much to discover that it's just going to keep on rewarding you. Every time I picked it up, I found and learnt something new that benefited me and just shaved off, you know, a couple of seconds. As you progress then, not only will you of course be opening up, the next mountain or the next level, shall we say, but you're also going to be adding in cosmetic items for your rider, different bikes to use, and these have different specific traits, I think suspension, wheels, and the frame itself, and these are very much going to impact the handling. Problems though, not really many. Controls they'll take a little bit to get used to, but that's not a flaw, just I'm setting an expectation. At times I will say I wish the camera had a little bit more movement just to give me a better idea of what was coming up, like a particularly steep incline where I was going to be greeted with a huge ass boulder in my way. But the big one, I've got to say, this is the second game this week I've said it, frame rate issues. They ain't huge or frequent, but they're very much noticeable, and they will for sure happen at sometimes the worst possible moments, which is a shame because this experience is nearly ideal in every way. Overall, for gameplay, I think it's fair to say I'm addicted to Lonely Mountains Downhill, and I will be revisiting this one a whole lot. I just wish we didn't see these frame rate stutters and freezes. It's a big game changer for a game that demands so much precision. Graphically speaking then, what we get here is a minimalist presentation that absolutely worked for me. Relying more on colour than anything else, it quickly presents to you recognisable seasons, time of the year, whether it's the sun-drenched hills to golden browns for fall to particularly brutal nighttime levels that are, I'll say now, only for the hardened. For on top of this then, the obstacles, the boulders, they look particularly aggressive. It's all jagged edges and honestly downright terrifying. Look, visuals, it's really good stuff. There's nothing, amazing here, honestly, but it's got a very relaxed style that's a nice contrast to the gameplay that can for sure, once you get into it, be, edge of your seat, hold your breath, nerve-wracking. It's nice, honestly, for it to be like the opposite almost of the gameplay, and it's very much like that counterbalance to nail-biting, absolute pain-in-your-ass gameplay and like this nice, chill, relaxed atmosphere. Last up then for visuals, bikes, riders, they match that same style. Nothing amazing, nor do they need to be. They very much fit into this world. Visually, I really like them, and their animations are great as they grind around these corners. What we get here basically is minimalist in its presentation, but it absolutely gives you everything you need to work with, all while being kind of a little bit stylish. To audio then, and this will be quick. Zero music in this one, which I always point out in my reviews, is an extremely bold move. You've got to have a stunning sense of the environment to make it sound alive, and they absolutely nailed it. Not once did this game go silent. Wind, animals, the sound of the bike on the ground, the brakes as you skid or, slowly edge your way forward because of the weight. The crashes then, they sound extremely painful. It's truly incredible work that brings the world to life, while adding realism to visuals that definitely are not that. My one issue, the screams from the riders as you crash, quality here is a little questionable, honestly, with some poor acting, shall we say, if you can call it that. But yeah, look, overall, this is a simple but accomplished piece of audio work, and kudos to the developers for being this bold, honestly. So the final verdict, and going into Lonely Mountains Downhill, I wasn't sure. Now I will say I'm mostly a believer. Sure, the frame rate is a letdown, there's no doubt about it, but at the same time I can't say I didn't have fun, because I really did. It's an addictive, high score chasing racer. Sure, it won't be for everyone, no real on-track competition, an element of memorizing tracks and what's upcoming, but for everyone who likes the idea of a physics-based time trial racer, you're in luck. You may have just found your game, but they seriously need to patch this as quickly as possible. Today I'm awarding Lonely Mountains Downhill a good 7 out of 10. If they patch the frame rate issue, it really is one of a kind. You can bump this score by 2 and call it an amazing 9 out of 10. Thanks for watching. If you're new here, why not grace us with your presence permanently? Hit that subscribe button below, join our growing Switch family, leave the video a like if it helped you out, and let me know in the comments below if you picked this one up today. Was it enough to make you, pull that bank card out and spend some cash? I'll see you all on the next video.